What may not follow instructions is Mother Nature, and she will come and go as she pleases. We then have to operate in a manner that is befitting and respectful of this mother. Enter El Nino, and this little Spanish boy has decided that this phenomenon will be named after him. And we've been told by the weatherman that this is coming, and it's coming fast. We're told maybe May, but maybe not just yet. In some parts already being experienced. But the question is, what are we going to do with all this water that's coming, and how are we going to make sure that it doesn't go to waste? Well, perhaps those are some of the things that we'll talk about with Julius Korir, who is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Water and Sanitation, in the hot seat this morning. Good morning, Bwana PS.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Fine, thank you.
Yes.
Karibu sana to the hot seat of the Situation Room. It's not hot when you touch it, but it's a hot matter, and that's water. We'll talk about that in just a bit. As we do in the Situation Room, Dennis goes around the African continent every week. He comes back from a different country with its proverbs. We then ask you to interpret the one that he shares today.
The country that you're in.
We hope it's not hard. We hope that nothing in life is ever hard. Here we are.
Yeah, the country we're in is the largest economy in East Africa. It is a country that is considered to be a tech pioneer in the region, has the largest budget in the region. You talk about education in the region, and it has continued to be a powerhouse in the region as well. You talk about its white sandy beaches, beautiful. Kenya is a beautiful country. Right? Nairobi, the only capital city in the world with an animal sanctuary in it. So that is a national park. Let's go to the proverb. And this proverb comes from the Nakovi Woods, comes from Rift Valley, specifically from the Kalenjin community. A cow does not give birth to things that speak. How would you interpret it?
Wow. I think if it were speaking, it would really give a lot of praises to what it's able to do, to nourish and to nurture, give wealth and all that. So my interpretation to it is that do good, don't talk about it. Yeah. Just let the people see the good things that you do.
Tenda mema, nenda zako.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said. Okay. Before we get to El Nino, there's often been questions about what is done with the water that comes with extra rain or from other parts that could actually help out in places where we say there is no water, or that actually could be piped around. What happens with that water? What are plans to make sure that that water doesn't continue going to waste?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think you've rightly connected the rains, El Nino, the phenomenon that brings a lot of water falling down, and then within time the same flows downhill all the way to either to the ocean or the lake. And what normally happens is that because of poor planning, because of lack of resources, we fail to put up structures to be able to harvest this water, because you just delay its journey to the lake or to the river, to the ocean, and then you're able to use it in the interim and then start evening out the extreme swings of either extreme wet and flood and extreme drought. And that is the plan of the government to ensure that we now increase investments in this area. I think if you've heard of the National Infrastructure Fund, one of the priority sectors that she's looking at is in building water harvesting structures. And we have identified 50 mega dams, which we have lined up so that it can benefit from this infrastructure fund. As we are talking now, we have about 5 or so mega dams that are ongoing. One is in Makueni, at the border of Makueni Kitui, called Thwake. We hope, actually, if it were not that the resources ran out as of mid of last year, but I'm glad to say that now we've gotten additional funding to the tune of about 10 billion, which now will help us to complete the dam by end of this year. So by the short rains of October, we will be harvesting water in Thwake Dam.
Where's that money coming from?
We have support from Africa Development Bank. It was an ongoing financing facility. And now the other day we went, applied for additional funds and we got more.
Okay.
So that is to ensure that that dam is finished.
If I can just hold on to that just a little bit. We were made to understand that the amount of money coming from the Africa Development Bank is 2.5 billion. Is there more coming from another source?
For Thwake, they gave us the entire 10 billion.
So AFDB gives 10 billion shillings.
Yeah, to be able to complete the dam.
Okay.
We also have Mwache, which is in Kwale. I believe those of us who have traveled to Mombasa, you at times go to the shower room, you find water is either salty, you apply soap, it is not
lathering.
It's not lathering.
Yeah.
And it's because we've been using, we've shortage of water in Mombasa. And so we've been trying to drill boreholes, but they don't give good quality water. So to solve this solution, this challenge, the government put up a dam called Mwache, which is at Samburu, not Samburu, near Mariakani.
Okay.
And this dam is also going to be completed this year and will supply water now to Mombasa and the environs. And again, in our plan of things, by December this year, we will have it starting to impound water. So that means, and then thereafter the downstream activities like water treatment, because we have to treat this water, transmit it to the people of Mombasa. So in a year or so, Mombasa will be getting an additional 186 million liters per day to serve the Mombasa county. In Rift Valley, that is Kapenguria, we have a dam that we're calling Sioi Murony, which is also at the tail end. It's around 80%. And we hope that before the end of these rains that we are talking about, the El Nino, we'll also start impounding water. This is funded entirely by government. And we have resources enough. It had suffered from financing when the liquidity and the fiscal space went down, but now that the economy is improving, we're able to fund most of these projects. And so this one also we're going to complete before the end of this year. We have another one in Makueni called, called Uma. Uma is at around 74%, and we believe also we're going to have it completed. There are others in the pipeline, one in Nandi called Keben Dam. This one, we are in the initial stages of preparation. We have one which has told in Soin Koru. And this one, as we're talking, we've written or requested the Asian Development Bank to finance us so that now we can complete that dam.
Can I go to Umar for a minute? Because the president actually stated that Umar Dam was going to be completed in May, which was last month.
Yes.
What would have been the parameters for that completion in May that now are not the case?
What happened was that the contractor had scaled down because of liquidity and cash flow problems. We managed to unlock the liquidity actually end of May. So now we've paid the contractor and they're fully mobilized to go back to site. That's why we had to adjust the completion date.
So when will Umar be completed now?
I want to say before the end of the financial year that is coming.
That's in 8 days.
No. The coming one. Yeah,
okay.
Because we've just unlocked the resources. So now the contractor is moved back to site, and we're embarking on finishing the dam first, and then now we do the treatment and the transmission. So we hope by around December the dam wall will be complete. We'll start harvesting water, and then now the downstream activities continues. Yeah. So we've got a dam. Yes.
For the last 5 years, has been 96% completed. There's a 4% completion that's required that hasn't happened. But what we're saying here is that 39 billion shillings has been spent on Thwake. You need another 9 billion shillings to complete it, which is 4% of the completion amount.
Yes.
And what you're saying is that in the next 6 months, that this will be completed now that the money has been secured?
Yes.
Okay, but it's going to miss out on this water that's coming with El Nino.
Not well, because
the dam will not be filled by this El Nino water.
Well, we will start impounding, which is a good sign. Because what is remaining now, this is a rockfill dam, which means we have to now seal the upstream where the water will be coming using concrete.
Yes.
And we didn't have the money to complete that.
Okay.
Now that the money has come, the contractor has given us a work plan that by October we'll have finished the concreting of the dam face. Now with that, and then we also have the gates, which will be used because it has an outlet that we will be controlling the gate so that we are able to regulate the flows downstream. Those ones are on site and they are going to be installed. So the installation of the gates and the dam concreting is a work that can be finished in 4 months.
And you're using the same contractors who've been on ground all this time, the same people who've not been able to, will now be able to complete. And we're saying it was just a resource issue.
It was a resource issue.
Okay.
Nothing else. Actually, I remember when we had resources, I think that was the year before. These guys moved that dam from around 40% in 1 year to 90. That's to say, with resources, you're able to accelerate. The same thing with Mwache. In May last year, we were at 30%.
Oh, so you're saying that there's work that has been done on Thwake Dam in the last 4 years?
Yes.
Oh, so it was not at 96% 4 years ago.
It was, I remember when I went, if I can get the pictures, when I went, we used to go down to reach where the level of the dam is.
Okay.
But when you go now, we've reached the top of the dam. And we are working on the spillway bridge so that the people of Makueni and Kitui will be using that as a bridge, the dam wall. So that is also the plus that is coming with that dam. So it was a resource issue. We've resolved the resource issue. Now the money is there in the budget. I think for the coming financial year, I have about 5 billion for finishing Thwake Dam.
Thwake Dam.
Yeah. So I'll complete the dam.
Yeah, Piers, even as we talk about new infrastructure that would come into place to ensure that we harvest the rainwater that we have for further distribution and processing for use by Wananchi. We can't also not talk about the fact that we have water already existing that we are processing and distributing to Wananchi. But equally, if you look at the stats that we have today, almost half of that water is lost in one way or the other. Why is that the case, and what exactly does that mean to Mwananchi? Because why are we moving into putting new resources that we really do need if we can't take care of what already we do have?
Thank you very much. I think you've hit the nail on the head, especially on why we as a ministry now are focusing our attention to the loss of the already generated water. You've purified, or you've cleaned, you've transmitted to where the residents or the community is or the citizens are. Then something happens at the last mile where either that water is not billed, so the people are getting water but illegally. The other one would be the pipes have burst, and so there are leaks. There are others that people are manipulating the system whereby, let's say, if they know you're in a neighborhood that has disposable income, so they make sure that the pipe leading to that area either is blocked or something happens, and then they abstract that water and then they bring you in bosses either through from boreholes and all that. So non-revenue is a challenge that we have as a country, and it's not only targeting certain counties. We have a challenge, particularly at the moment when we released the Impact 18 report last year. The non-revenue, that is the water that is generated but not billed, and the various losses, as I've said, is either illegal connections, others are leakages, maybe the pipes are old, and so with the pressure. An example is when Nairobi, we completed the Northern Collector last year. We injected 160 million liters into Nairobi environment. Now, because of now continued supply, which had started dwindling, the water, okay, we see the rationing going down, suddenly it disappears because when there are bursts of the pipes, and this is where now the county government is supposed to come and help us in that area, because as national government we do the bulk water infrastructure, bring them to the closest where the citizens are, and then as per constitution the citizen service is given by the counties, and that is where we
are. You saying that the counties then are the failing point? Because if you put up the structure, you're distributing, you've collected the water going to Wananchi.
Yes.
Who is in charge of maintenance? Because if you fail to maintain it, if you fail to do your regular checks to see who is connected, who's being billed, who is interfering with the system, that is where we get to lose the water, because Wananchi says there is no value for money in terms of even the quality of water that we have today. So are you saying that the national government does not have responsibility when it comes to maintenance, and that is the job of the counties? And if that's the case, what are you doing to fix that?
First, maybe let's go to the constitution. There is Schedule 4 of activities, where it says what remains the responsibility of national government and what becomes responsibility of the county governments. For national government, we're in charge with policy, bulk water harvesting infrastructure, that we call them national waterworks. So building of big dams, building of water treatment, transmission lines, like when you go to Northern Collector, we have a pipe of about 1.5 meter diameter. If you happen to fall in, you will land in Nairobi from Karimenu, because it's so big and you can even walk in. So those are where we are accountable and responsible for. We also, like the storage tanks in Gigiri, where we're the first stop of water to Nairobi, those are our responsibility. There is a tank in Karen, that is our responsibility. There's another one in Kabete, that's our responsibility. So connecting those huge storage facilities is our responsibility. Taking water to Mavoko, like along this highway, there is a big pipe of about 900 centimeters, 0.9, about 1 meter, which is ferrying water to Mavoko. Then there is a tank there. Then from there now, Machakos County takes over. So that's our responsibility as national government. However, the constitution also says, because the county government is closer to the people, they are the best placed to serve now, give citizen services. So they will be the ones now to run the water service provision. And that's why, like for Nairobi, we have Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company. For Mavoko, we have Mavoko Water and Sanitation Company. Machakos, Mombasa, the same. So every county has an agency to help it in delivering, discharging that responsibility. And that is where now the failure begins. Failure begins at that point. Water reaches, like for me, if you look at Earthy Water, which is an agency within me, our non-revenue is less than 10, is about 5%. And that one we can account. It is allowable because maybe pressure, at times when the pressure is low in the pipe, some of it will leak out kidogo before now the pressure stabilizes. And so 5% is actually international best practice. But now the moment the water hits the tank in Kigiri and then the county takes over, that is where the rain starts beating us. One, they have not embraced a modern way of running things, where they put in pressure leak detection, that is maintenance crews to rally and look at what is happening, making sure to know that there are no illegal connections and all that. So what we are doing as national government now is that we are bringing together all the water service providers. And then with that, once we bring the water service providers, we now start the change in terms of talking to them about behavior change and all that, so that they can improve their management systems to reduce on the non-revenue. Yeah.
How, when and how would that work? Because pick a county, and in terms of water services, a shortage, there's a problem.
Yes.
There are parts of Nairobi, for example, where folks have been told no more boreholes because under every building is a borehole.
Yeah.
And in terms of the water table then being available, it has close to disappeared. There are parts of the county also where the salt in the water is just too high, so it is not usable for household and things like that. And then there are parts of the city where water doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Maybe water comes once a week. And if it comes, then it comes for a couple of hours. The rest of the time, folks are having to buy water PS. So then the question is, this place where they are buying this water from, it exists. Where are they getting it from? Why can't it be in the pipes for them to put it on? And then these folks are billed for non-existent water. True situation.
Sure.
How are we working with that circus?
You see, there is the extent to which national government can go. And what we've done is, first of all, especially for illegal connection and this detection of leaks and water being stolen, we have set up a water police unit with the support from Ministry of Interior. So this is a unit that helps us. First of all, we have a map of where the pipes are passing, so they're able to go and see if there are people who have connected and they don't have meters. So the working with the water service providers is expected to improve on that. So like Nairobi Water, we've given them an inspector.
Okay.
And then they get backup from our SIPU, that is the Critical Investment Police Unit, so that they can look at that. I remember we did something in Kibera, and we managed to close the leakages that were tapping water for the water coming to Langata. And out of that, I think Langata people now started seeing water.
I'm sorry, PS. If there was a supply of water, you wouldn't have illegal connections, and then you wouldn't need a policing unit. Because water is in the pipes, it's in the taps. The reason why you have illegal connections is because there's no water in the first place. So somebody's tapping in for a structure, somebody's tapping into the main pipe because there's been no allowance made for them to receive this. Number one. Number two, there's also no clarity on the pricing per unit of water. We don't know how much it's actually supposed to cost. Anybody can just come and say, hi,
200 per unit.
Bas. So people are saying, number one, it's too expensive. So if there's a pipe here and I can get somebody who's going to knock the thing through, pipe water to my house, it sounds a bit funny, but that's just how it happens. If there was a proper flow of water, would we have illegal connections? Then would you need this policing unit where maybe that resource could be channeled elsewhere? Or am I not understanding it?
One is you're talking on the assumption that everybody is well behaved.
Well, yeah, we can't do that, can we?
Now, first of all, water service provision is regulated.
Okay.
Which means we have an agency within the ministry called WASREP,
Yes.
Water Services Regulatory Board.
Yes.
And its responsibility is to regulate the service provision.
Okay.
So one of the things that they do is that for every water service provider, they're given a tariff to charge to the citizens for every 3 years. Like now, we've just finished the tariff review for Nairobi, and I think the price has increased from around 90 shillings per 1,000 liters to about 115
for 1,000 liters.
For 1,000 liters. Now,
that's what you should pay if it's metered.
If it is metered.
Okay.
And so when you look at the price, it's actually very reasonable.
Okay.
However, anybody who buys, I used to buy also water from the Bozas. A 10,000 liter tank, I was paying 10,000 shillings.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the 10,000 from Nairobi Water, how much will it be?
Yeah.
If it is 115, it's about 1,500. So you can see the level of exploitation our people are facing because of one, inefficient water service provision.
Okay.
And this is where now, as part of our regulations, we've given each water service provider a benchmark. One, the number of days in a week that they should ration, which means it should not be more than 2 days in a week. So which means if you get, let's say, in an area like Langata, Water, you should be given days when water will come, so that you organize yourself and say, if I use about 1,000 liters per day, I need to have a storage capacity of 5,000. I store my water for 2 days. When the water comes next time, I don't have to buy. Now, where we have a problem, and this is why we came to have the water police unit, was that when there was scarcity, maybe just let me bring context for Nairobi.
Okay.
Nairobi, the demand for water is 900 million per day for Nairobi. Up to last year, when we finished the Northern Collector and Karimeno Dam, we were generating 480,000 cubic liters. That is 480 million liters. So there was a deficit of 520 million.
Yeah.
Now, Karimeno Dam and Northern Collector both injected about 200,000, which is 200 million liters. So it has brought the water for Nairobi to 700 million, leaving a deficit of 200,000 cubic meters. So which means the supply of water in Nairobi has greatly improved. And that's why for the last 1 year, the estates that were receiving water once a week are now getting 3 times because of that. But with it also, so because of that historic shortage of water, and most of the time water was not there. So everybody thought by intercepting the main pipe, by collecting illegally, was going to help them. But you have a connection that is not bringing you water. And then what happened is that people started now investing in boreholes, and then they started selling. Now, when they realize it's a lucrative business, what do? They make sure that even now when the little water comes, it's blocked. So that they do their business. So what do you do?
So the water. I'm sorry, I wanted to go into a break. If you hold on to that, because we'll come back. But what you're telling us is that the water that's being sold to people that should actually be in their pipes
belongs to them.
It belongs to them actually. That it's being taken from the source that should actually come to them, and we're telling them to buy tanks and store water, so that the people who come and sell to them on the days when water doesn't come. My goodness, I'm already dizzy.
And maybe just before you close, the water that we are talking about, for instance, in some instances, you find that it's the water service provider that licenses the water boozers.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, when you look at water provision and the losses that do exist and the vandalism that we see every day, it is a problem that has dogged the water sector for a very long time. But seemingly, it's very difficult to deal with that problem once and for all. Also, when you talk about water losses, the other day there was cleaning of a drainage around where I live. And the county's resources, the caterpillar that was clearing, punched through the water pipes, and that water leaked there for 2 days. It is the same county that is in charge of distributing this water that has damaged the pipe and left that pipe running for 2 days. That means Wananchi either got contaminated water or didn't get water at all. So one asks the question, even as we move to put in new infrastructure, why is it difficult for us to deal with the corruption, the vandalism that we see within the water sector? Why is it so difficult?
Well, it's a very hard question, and I think for me it's more of a society issue. But what are we doing as the Ministry of Water? Through our regulator, we are now focusing also, because you see they say fish starts rotting from the head. So which means in water service provision, like Nairobi Water or Malindi Water or Kilifi or Kericho, where I come from, we have a water service provider that has a board and has a CEO and heads of department. Now, the people you're referring to are the people down the food chain. These are officers who are either in charge of maintenance, in charge of fixing pipes, leak detection, meter reading, and all that. When they see the leadership is not functioning with integrity, then it is everyone for himself, God for us all. And that's why you see these kind of things. So what we've done is that, one, in the regulations that we have now for water service provision, there has been a lot of interference from the county leadership. Interference. For instance, Machakos the other day, the whole CEOs for all the water, Mavoko, Machakos, and I think there's another one. There are 3 water service providers, and the rural water service provider for Machakos. They were all sent home by the governor without following due process. So, and because of that, CEOs are always careful. So stopping some of these things requires political goodwill. So when if you're going to put your foot down and it will cause you to be sacked, then you realize you know what to touch and what not to touch. So what we've done now is we've given CEOs security of tenure. So if you're appointed as a CEO for water service provider, you have 5 years. In the past, it was 3 years, but you could be terminated anytime. But this one now we've put it in law that once you've been appointed as a CEO, you have 5 years.
What if they don't deliver within the 2 years?
No, you see,
must they go through the 5 years?
Well, we are hoping that in the selection process, you also did a good job to identify the person who is qualified. Because in the other one, when you're very good, you're sacked. So mediocrity at times end up being rewarded. So what we've done is that we've said now, and then the board members, we've given a criteria, a profile that the governor should consider when they are employing. Then the heads of the technical departments, we've also given a profile so that when you have proper leadership in an institution, that will trickle down to the rest of the staff. So that is what we are doing from the ministry, because again, we can't go far. But when push comes to shove, we now invoke a section of the law that now makes national government to take over.
I think push came to shove in Nairobi a while ago. If we just want to look at Nairobi, the capital city, where there are certain places whereby I think maybe is what the county governor at some point was referring to as boroughs, whereby for decades there has been no running water. Taps have rusted. People, it's their lived experience, it's their known reality, it's the habitual reality to buy water. And we know them: South B, South C, Langata, parts of Nairobi West. It has been the case forever. Lavington, parts of Westlands, parts of Kileleshwa, with no water. Let's not even talk about moving north of the city, whereby this whole borehole thing now was an issue, and looking into parts of the eastern part of the city where they said, okay, no more boreholes, because with the water table, there's no more table, essentially. So this is a problem. So like as I said, push came to shove a while ago. What is it going to take for an intervention to happen? Because still, if you will sit for a minute, you can actually hear the buzz of water bowsers still. So what is it going to take to intervene in this situation, which is not going away?
With the Nairobi cooperation framework that was signed by the governor and His Excellency the President a few months back, we have put up a framework that is looking at water. And one of the key pillars of this framework in water is increasing the supply. But number two, more important, is now addressing non-revenue. Now, what we are doing with the county government is that first, we are now creating what we call, I think, for administration, you call them barrows. But for water, we are calling them district metering areas, DMS. So we are now dividing Nairobi into district metering areas, so that what will happen is that we'll have water, let's say meant for South B. We have a point where we put a meter, which shows how much water has been injected into South B. Then now, later, the same county can now go and see X amount of water came to South B, how much did we bill? How many people got it? So we are hoping that by doing that, first of all, we are dedicating supply of water to dedicated zones, so that now if it is lost, let it be lost within the area. The other thing also is that we are going to work with them to support them in asset renewal. That is pipes, so that now we don't have old dilapidated pipes that when water increases, they burst because of pressure. And we have started with CBD. We have about 3 billion project that is going to replace all the pipes in CBD, Upper Hill area, up to Ngara and parts of Westlands. And the idea is that we are going to now renew those pipes and meter. So that, because you go to some of these high-rise buildings, you don't know which meter works and which one doesn't work. So by replacing the new pipes, we're also going to put in new smart meters, which will be able to monitor with that. And with that, we'll now create CBD as a district metering area, which now it becomes easy to manage the leakages and all that. We'll now move on. The next will be up, that is Kilimani, Lavington area. And then what we are saying is that we want also, as we look at the middle income and upper income, because those are the people with disposable incomes, they are able to pay if the water is there in right quality and in right quantity. Then with the new money because we normally say when you reduce non-revenue, you have new money being injected into the system. Then with that new money, we now come and look at the informal settlements. How do we dignify them? By providing them water, so that they don't have to be, I find let's say in informal settlement, a jerrycan of water is 5 shillings. It's very expensive. Actually, in some places, it's 10 to even 20 shillings here. So, but if we have water kiosks within a perimeter of 100 meters, so that people don't have to go far, that is water that is guaranteed and it is cheap. We will have dignified those people and they will be getting clean water and all that. So what we do now is, with the new money that we get from saving and reducing non-revenue, we inject into infrastructure in the informal settlement and other places.
PS, the budget has allocated around 112 billion shillings to water, sanitation and irrigation.
Yes.
And with that, then the next question would be, with this money, what are the guarantees that as a resident of Nairobi with pipe water, I'm able to drink water from the tap that is addressing quality? Is it something that Nairobi residents should say this is a demand, because as Wananchi, we are paying for that service? Second of all, if you just look at irrigation, is important for us to talk about an agriculture that is working in the country. For a very long time, it has been said that agriculture is the backbone of the country, and rain does not grow food, it is water that grows food. What's the responsibility within the budget allocations that we have today to see to it that irrigation and agriculture in the country is a reality?
Sure. Okay, irrigation is sort of out of my docket, but since I'm in the same ministry, the objective is now for us to reduce dependence on rain and be able to grow crops at any time, because for us, water is food security. So water security is food security. And that's why, like, even when I talked about the 50 mega dams that we are looking at, for each to qualify into the 50, they had 3 criteria. Can it irrigate land? How big the size is? Can it generate power? How much? And can it be used for hot domestic use? So those were the criteria for us to choose the 50 mega dams. And as we are talking about, 12 of them now are in the pipeline as we build the National Infrastructure Fund. And then we said the 50 may not cover the entire country. There could be other smaller dams which we may not have the capacity or may not meet the 3 criteria, but they either serve water for household consumption, reduce water conflicts and insecurity and all that. So we identified another 20 medium and small dams. 200 across the country. And this one now we said, with the money released from being taken by the NIF, we will now use the exchequer that we have to build these small and medium dams. So we already have another list of 200 dams. And why we're doing this is because we want to make sure that we have water that we can use for agriculture. Then within the Ministry of the State Department for Irrigation also, we have what we call farmer-led irrigation. So a part of this money that you've seen in the budget for next financial year will also be dedicated to helping farmers build small water storage facilities within their farms, which now will help them to do small-scale irrigation schemes. On my side, that is the State Department for Water and Sanitation. Most of this money will go into first building water abstraction systems, either from rivers, from water pans, as well as also small sanitation facilities for emerging towns. Because of rapid urbanization, we have a challenge of sanitation in most of these urban centers. So we are also putting that money into that. We are also saying, as we wait for the mega dams, people need to drink water there now. So we are also putting money into boreholes, and we are putting it and tying it to schools, because you find that a school is sort of a hub where communities live around. So if we drill water in our school, we will give the children water, reducing waterborne diseases, but also part of that water will also be shared with the community. So they also have access to water. And in this coming financial year, I think I'm going to drill about 100 boreholes all over the country so that we can elevate that,
When am I drinking water from my taps? Yes, PS. Because if that water, I'm not guaranteed of that water. If I get sick, then I can sue the government, because the government needs to assure me of quality water. When will we start drinking water from our taps? Is that a reality?
It is a reality. I think, as I've said, I like using Nairobi for a year before where I stay. I had a meter. And for 6 years since I moved there, I never saw water. It made me to save and then drill a borehole. The other day, my gardener told me, we've been seeing water overflowing in a storage tank. So I was wondering where it was coming from, because I had disconnected it and just left the water from my borehole to the tank up, then it flows by gravity to the house. Now, I realized maji imeifika. So now I've switched off my pumps. I'm now using Nairobi water. So it's coming. Yeah. And as I said, if Kenyans also and Nairobians are honest, they'll say that the water rationing has reduced. The only thing that now we are pushing, and we are working with the Nairobi County government, is now to reduce non-revenue. And how to do about that is leak detection, creation of district metering centers, and then we support them to renew the assets. So that now, but we are saying we will do it in a phased approach. We've started with the CBD. The next will be the Upper Hill and Kilimani, Lavington area, and also this sides of Buruburu, South B, and all that. Yeah.
The final question is, the cartels are an issue in Nairobi as concerns water. What is the plan to finally get rid of cartels? Everybody and their uncle has promised, we will snuff out the cartels, we will get rid of them. They are the cause of these things that you talk about. Illegal connections, lack of metering,
Leakage.
uncharged water, leakage. It's the cartels who now come and sell water again to Nairobi residents. You're aware of them.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with them? Or are we just going to keep courting disaster?
I think what we're doing, and again, we will rely very much on the goodwill from the county leadership, is to cease or cancel all permits for the water bowsing in the county. Once that one has been done, then now it will be legal for anyone to bowse water. And with our water police unit, we'll be able to arrest whoever is found. Because anytime we are trying to attack, we're shown a permit. I've been licensed, I've been approved. So the first is, first of all, to ask Nairobi Water and all the water service providers in the country to eliminate potential conflict of interest. And the way to do is for them, they are responsible for supplying water, and they should not allow anyone else.
Is it a criminal offense to have an illegal connection for water in the city
Yes,
or anywhere?
It is.
It is.
It is.
Okay.
But with now a permit a water bowser comes with,
If a water bowser has a permit,
then it is allowed.
it is allowed.
Yeah.
Even if the source of water that they're going to get is taking away from the normal flow to people in the city.
The assumption is that when you're applying for a bowser, you have your own
Source.
developed water source. But unfortunately, at times you find it's the same people who tap from the main pipes. Yeah.
So those are the guys that need
Those
to
are
be
the
shut
guys
down.
now we need to get them.
Okay. It's a tough one, but thank you for being here with us this morning. And we're looking forward to following up with some of these things with you in October,
No problem.
because that's some of the dates that you've given us in terms of how things are actually supposed to work. Julius
Maybe
Korir.
before I just want maybe to inform your audience that we also have, as a way of trying to address non-revenue, we have a non-revenue management conference next week, which will be in Naivasha, where we are bringing together all water service providers, the ministry, and water stakeholders. And here we will, it will run from 30th June to 3rd of July at Lake Naivasha. We will be expecting about 500 delegates and 70 exhibitors. And the theme, which is improving non-revenue management by leveraging technology and innovation. Here we will be showcasing a technology that uses satellite, where it can scan and be able to tell us where the pipes are leaking and where the illegal connections are. And then now we deploy teams to go and correct them. Yeah. So I'm inviting all of us to join us in this very important conference of non-revenue water management conference.
Asante sana. Julius Korir is the Principal Secretary in State Department of Water and Sanitation. Thank you for being here with us this morning. And thank you for being in the Situation Room this morning. That's what we have time for today.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.